Hi, this is Allein Moore, and I am at the AdFest 2012 talking to Neeraj Nayar, who is the president of Contagious in India. Before we talk about your presentation, can you just tell the viewers a little bit about what Contagious does?
Contagious, we see ourselves as an early warning system for the communications business. We look at the very best of primarily non-traditional advertising, experiential marketing, branding, retail, design, trends, and emerging technologies. Our core product is a quarterly magazine, which comes together with a DVD. We also have an intelligence briefing, which goes across brands and agencies around the world. We have a Contagious Insider, which is our consultancy division. And for those who want a little bit more contagious love in their life, there's a free newsletter which comes out weekly. So we're very much at the intersection of emerging technologies and brands, which is what we do.
Let's move on to your presentation. It had the title of Marketing for Humans, Not Robots. Could you just expand on that for us?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have about 1,000 agency submissions every quarter, and our research teams will probably pick up another 1,000. And it's quite interesting when we actually look at all these projects, there are trends that emerge. So in the talk that I put across, I spoke of experience over innovation, social business, which is a really important trend coming out, and marketing as a service design. Going back to the actual title, we feel that, especially today, everyone seems to be throwing tech for the sake of throwing tech, or getting involved in social media for the sake of getting involved in social media. So we have this let's do philosophy, as in let's do an app, let's do QR code, let's do augmented reality, just for the sake of it. And in our humble opinion, we feel that actually what works best is when you don't see the tech. So when it kind of seamlessly blends into your life. And people more and more today are tuning out of anything that feels like advertising or feels like branded communications. And the answer or the question is always, what's in it for me? And we feel that that's quite important, because even in the olden days when you just had print, television, radio to deliver, there was still the basic human insight, there was the basic human need, and you were addressing that. There was a big idea. And I think today more than ever, because people know the content they want, they know where they can get it from, they want it right now. It's this instant gratification culture, which is true. But for brands, it can almost be, if they're clever, if they're genuine, if they're subtle about how they package this, because people still need education, they still need experience, they still need engagement. And if brands are clever about this and they're not completely self-serving, then that basic human need can be addressed and everyone can win. In terms of experience over innovation, if I just quickly break down the three trends that we found. Experience over innovation, our core product looks at thousands of projects, and right at the start everyone will stick at the start of their case study, it'll go, we're the world's first QR code, we're the world's first augmented reality, and we look at all the shiny stuff and we look at this and we go, that's all fantastic, but where's your basic human insight? Why don't you nail that first, and then you can check tech at it. Retail, we feel, has been actually almost ahead of this in creating experiences for people, and I'm sure in Asia most of you are familiar with the StarHub project, which came out of Singapore, and it's brilliant because StarHub is a fantastic example of people going, I'm going to follow that brand, not going, I'm going to follow that brand because they've thrown amazing augmented reality. You just don't see the smart tech that's around, and it creates a really personal experience. So if I just run through that project very quickly, they've come up with, they wanted to drive traffic online, so they partnered with Topman and other retailers. They came up with really smart RFID tags, which are onto items of clothing, and then there's an RFID reader at the top, which picks up. And when you walk in, it plays the music the genre of music according to the item of clothing you've picked up, but you don't see the tech. And that's why it's so seamless. Another example of where you're creating personal engagement, where people are going, oh, that's quite remarkable, I want to share it. And then you don't have to chuck so much traditional media at it. And it's a really simple project that was done by Pedigree, which is a dog food brand. And Pedigree has adopted dog food charities all around the world. And this particular project from New Zealand, again, it's been shared a lot, it's been entered into awards a lot. It's called Doppelganger. And it's based on this really simple insight that, as kids we used to joke, if you're walking your dog in the park, you end up looking like your dog, and vice versa. So they have a database of stray dogs from all around the world, and they ask you to make a very, very simple upload of your own photograph, which you can do with a click from your hard drive or from your pen drive. And then they match this with this massive database of stray dogs, and they come up with your perfect match, that this is the guy that looks like you. And that's so personal, because you go, okay, I want to read a little bit more about him. This beast is friendly to children, this is the food he eats, and suddenly it's a personal experience. So there's a very good chance I'm going to share that. I'm going to send it to my mates. And when people who are not working in advertising, because mostly the advertising folks are a bit too clever, if they're sharing with it, if they're engaging with it, then you know that this is a good thing. And that becomes, so that's technology not getting in the way. You don't see the tech. It's just really simple. It's seamlessly. Social business was a trend that we found to be really, really important. And this here, and I mentioned in our presentation, is going to separate the men from the boys. Because, again, going back to the let's do it philosophy, people are just joining the bandwagon. Let's get onto social media. And actually, brands that are doing business in a fundamentally social way, because social involves radical transparency. It involves reacting in real time. It involves having real conversations with people. And those that are doing business in a fundamentally social way will survive if you just remove the Facebook, remove the Twitter. And who's doing business in a social way? Okay, the Domino's have taken it to another level with the art of war, where they've burnt the bridges behind and their teams have point of no return. Domino's have extended their very successful pizza tracker, which was where you can track where your pizza is. It's in the oven, it's on the way. And they came up with the Domino's digital billboard, where every comment is fed live onto Times Square. So the blue are the good ones, the red are not so good ones, but it's complete transparency. The comments are fed back straight to every outlet, so that you can see, oh my God, I've sent this pizza out with too much garlic, and the comments on the digital billboard. Or, that was a great pizza, and a pat on the back. So, absolute transparency. Reacting in real time, I think so many brands have Twitter handles these days, for the sake of having it. And the social world is very transparent. If you're not able to react in real time, in the past you had to wait for your share prices to crash before you knew that there was a problem. Right now, it's bang, straight away. And you almost have to, today more than ever, you almost have to have the ability to adapt, to evolve, to almost mutate your project in real time, depending on the reaction. So your work doesn't start when the project is ready. It doesn't end as soon as you get it out of the door. That's when your work really, really starts. And KLM, for example, it's another project being discussed. Absolute declaration that we are going to have live conversations. We're going to talk live with all the people. And so Contagious being quite busy, we track them for about 24 hours, and we found that 95% of their tweets were actual conversations with people. It was direct one-to-one. They weren't just trying to flog flights. They weren't just being self-serving, promoting themselves, and I think that was fantastic. And also the ability to say, we're really sorry, we got that wrong, we'll fix it, because you will get found out in the social world. So I think social business. And finally, the other trend that we looked at, which probably a few years ago might have been known as branded utility, where everyone was kind of joining on to the bandwagon of let's do mobile apps, let's try and find a way of leveraging that. And it's now called marketing as a service design, where again, you create a service where it's not self-serving, and it almost complements your behavior. It creates experiences for you which are personal, and it beneficiates you. And I think Heineken and AKQ absolutely nailed it. Star Player, which has been awarded around the world, it's just absolutely brilliant project where existing human behavior, where you're watching football matches, and it's usually behavior where you're sitting and watching a football match, and you have a smartphone anyway. So all it's doing is giving you another experience. You're going, if I've got my smartphone, most of the time I'm texting or tweeting or chatting with my friends, and this way I can actually play the game. So Star Player is a fabulous example of marketing as a service design. Again, Coca-Cola Polar Bears at Super Bowl this year. What a beautifully organic project, which really shows that by being clever, by being genuine, you can get people to interact with your brand for a length of time, and it's not just an interruption. And we thought that Coca-Cola Bears project was a great project that has become a property for Coke and Wieden and Kennedy.
Do you see these trends being understood by the market?
I think, again, which is why we went back to basic human insight and basic human need. And we feel that more and more it's changing, it's evolving, and more agencies and brands have understood this, and they're trying to do that, because people will tune out of anything that is self-serving. It's like the slide that I don't know if you might have seen, which said that the percentage of branded apps that are actually downloaded is minuscule, and that's because there's a reason for that. That's because people are going, that's self-serving. Well, why do you want me to have this? It's like I was asked to download an app for a pizza place, and actually I know where that pizza place is, and it's quite simple for me to go there and pay. And they were trying to get me more dependent to actually pay online, and I switched out of it, and I said, why? I know where it is. I'm going to go. So you're not actually adding value or creating pockets of time in my life or adding to my experience. And we have a feeling this is changing, that there is this shift. There are a lot more conversations taking place, and genuine conversations where, again, yes, there's a very large percentage of let's do social media, let's chuck tech at this, let's have a QR code. But gradually, the communications business is kind of shifting into more engagement and less reach and frequency.
Neeraj, thank you for spending time with AdAsia today.